Hi everyone, this is Dan from headmania.org, and we are going to have a very special review today. First of all, cheers. It's a Saturday after lunch, so I'm gonna enjoy some local brewed beer in Bucharest. It's I think morning glory, but let's go back to the video. So why am I saying this is actually a very special review? I've been trying to get my hands on STAX for a while now. I mean, in terms of being able to easily have access to STAX headphones, and until recently it was not possible because we didn't have an open dealer in Bucharest that can help with this. And I have to say that I'm very pleased that Audiophile is actually a distributor now for Romania, and this is a very good thing because they're one of the best audio stores in Romania, and actually one of the best, the best showroom for headphones in Romania. So the best store for headphones, and you can go up to their showroom and listen to a lot of headphones there. By the way, I have a kind of a short, actually a video short on YouTube if you want to see a very, let's say, a glimpse of the showroom. And basically now I have access to STAX headphones, and this happened very recently, and I already managed to get my hands on the first headphone in their line, and I'm talking about SR-300, and these are the Lambda. They are from the Lambda series, and they're quite cheap. I mean, they're $450 headphones, of course I want to listen to the flagships and all of the high-end STAX headphones, but I said, okay, I actually want to hear their first in line, right? I was very curious about that, and I have them here, and I'm very happy that I did, because it was a very interesting experience, and the amplifier, because this is something that you need to be aware of. You know, STAX headphones are not dynamic headphones. They require a special amplifier for electrostatic headphones. This is the SR-M400S, and you can see it's kind of a, it's not necessarily big in width, but it's quite big in depth. This combination between these two were actually amazing. I'm gonna get a bit into it. First of all, if you look at the headphones themselves, they're very plasticky, right? when I had the box and opened the box to get the headphones out, first of all I thought that the box might be empty because it was so light. The box was incredibly light. Fortunately, I found them inside. They're quite light in general. I think they have around 350 grams or something like that, they're quite comfortable. In terms of how they look, a lot of people probably won't necessarily be fans of the retro look of these headphones. They're quite plasticky as well, but I would say that the build quality looks fine for, let's say, this price, because if you look inside, if you look closer, and you'll find the pictures in the written review, and actually please check the written review because you will get more details on the general impression of the sound. But if you look at the actual driver here, I think it's pretty clear that this was the main aspect about these headphones that they concentrated about when they released them. So I think they tried to get a very cheap headphone, I mean not very cheap, but mainstream STAX electrostatic headphones to the masses without breaking the bank, and I think they tried to keep a very good driver inside, and I think this was the actual priority. and I think they did a good job with that, and I'm gonna get into it. So in terms of build quality, I would say yeah, you can find much better, but the comfort is quite okay. They're quite light, and they're pleasant to wear on the head. I mean, they're quite comfortable in general. Sometimes I actually forgot I had them on my head, but let's get a bit to the actually what's important here, right? First of all, it's a $450 headphone, right? And yes, you do need a STAX amplifier or an amplifier specific for electrostatic headphones. But I was not expecting this level of quality from a headphone that is $450. I can tell you for sure. The first thing that struck me was the transparency, then the speed, then basically the effortless way it managed to reproduce sound. I think that I was actually astonished because I was not expecting, blown away by the fact, because I was expecting a much lower tier of sound, and this is not the case with the 300. I don't know exactly what, not sure exactly what they tried to do here, because I have a very good idea, I think, or a hunch. They try to make a headphone that is really affordable, right? And they sound so good that they get you in this STAX mafia. They draw you in, right? The first one is cheap, it's really good, and then you get hooked. And I think they actually managed to do that quite well. Cheers. So, yes, of course, there probably you'll find headphones that can excel in other areas. In most areas, like not most areas. I'm telling about some there's especially bass. The bass is somewhere where you can find a more engaging presentation, and I'm gonna talk about the general sound in general, and then some conclusions. Yes, let's start from the bass. The bass actually is it can get better with other headphones, and probably with the bigger brothers from STAX as well. The guys from AV Store actually mentioned, look, they might have less bass than you would like, and I started and I thought that I would get a lackluster experience with the bass, right? And maybe I had lower expectations, but I actually was impressed. Yes, they don't have a lot of sub bass. And you can see the measurements in the review here, that you have have a steep slope after 100 hertz down. Steep slope, but they do have very good mid bass. It's a fast and quite, let's say, detailed, with a good, decent punch. So overall, it's a very fast bass with a good punch, and with good details in general. Yes, of course, the other parts of the sound will give you other aspects that will basically integrate with the bass in a very engaging way, so you overall get a very good prat and a very good timing and energy in the songs. So I would say that in general I actually managed to enjoy a lot of electronic music, even rock and roll, because the overall tonality of the headphone, the overall speed, the mid bass was actually quite an engaging experience, and I managed to get hooked into the songs, into my music library, even with electronic music or rock and roll. So that's something. yeah, I started with a lot of expectations, but actually I was quite impressed overall. Even on the bass, even if you get better, it was actually quite okay. Let's go to the other parts, because this is something where basically from this point on, everything is shining. And if we go to the mid-range, first of all, the transition from each frequency response part, from the transition from bass to mid-range, from mid-range to treble, everything is done in a really, really good way. I mean, the transition is seamless. You don't get any dips or any peaks in between. Nothing shouts at you. It's quite a linear experience, even if it's a little bit more, let's say, focused, not focused, but a little bit more leaning towards the lower mid-range, which for STAX is actually something that gives you a very interesting experience, because you will get a very clean, very rich, very pristine mid-range, with a bit focused on the lower mid-range. That gives you even more magic, let's say, to this experience. So the mid-range is something that is quite something to behold, something to take in. It's so full of emotion. It's all of the instruments sound amazing. I listened to classical music. I was jumping with my attention from instrument to instrument. I was getting the joy. I was getting the emotion from each of them. The vocals, wow, the vocals are amazing. When you get a chorus, or you get a voice that is more present in a song, it just envelops you. It's so clean. It's so it's so enjoyable. It's so immersive, right? It's something that I don't think I ever expected from a $450 headphones. I am seriously. And then when you go to the treble, again, the transition from the mid-range to treble is seamless. And the treble has a very interesting aspect, characteristic. It's basically very detailed. It's not bright, it's not sharp, it's quite smooth, but it's detailed, and it's like it has a body, like it has a presence of its own. You can touch the treble somehow, right? The attack on the treble, the attack everywhere is good, but even on the treble, it basically it's something that it brings you to another level of enjoyment if you are a treble head, right? And yes, probably you will get more details in with other headphones, even with the higher stacks, of course. But it's important that in some cases with other headphones you will get some harshness or some brightness, not with all, of course. This is for my taste, this is exactly exactly the tuning that I like. Again, when it comes to detail is a very interesting thing with the 300. Yes, I've heard more micro details with headphones that are much more expensive, and sometimes I forget that there's only a $300 headphones, and I'm treating it like a flagship in my mind. Yes, I would enjoy a little bit more micro detail, and probably you'll get this with upper stacks, but the deal in general is actually quite impressive. I mean, really impressive. That's why I'm telling you, in my head, my brain was actually, and my thoughts were comparing it to flagships. So that's something, right? Cheers again. Now, what else? Of course, let's talk about a bit of transparency, the speed, which are something to behold. And yes, probably everybody knows, this is a thing specific to electrostatic headphones, and they are not disappointing from this perspective either. It's the speed is actually like it's hard to get in something else with a different technology, and it's also present on this entry-level STAX headphones. It's actually really impressive. Everything is effortless. The transition from one note to another is so easy, so effortless, that it's so seamless. It's something that creates a very smooth, flowing musical experience. However, it also has good attack, and you can feel the plugs of the headphone, the guitars. You can feel the every time the stick hits the drum very well, and everything basically is a tactile experience. Yes, you can get more tactile than this. For example, HE1000 SE is more tactile, but overall, I would say that it's the speed and the attack have a very good blend together very well, in a way that creates a tactile but an effortless experience. And it is one of the best things about these headphones as well. Now, the tonality and the tuning of this headphone is something that I enjoy a lot. I mean, I was not expecting this again from STAX, and I heard bigger. I mean, I've heard even the STAX 009s, but I have to hear them at home and see how they compare in general, even from the tonality perspective. But I enjoy this tonality a lot. The tuning of these headphones. I mean, I told you it's kind of a bit focused on the lower mid-range a bit. It's not something that takes too much of your attention, but this tuning is creating a more pleasant musical experience, and this is something that probably coincides a lot with my taste in general. So I'm happy to say that these headphones were presented quite a journey. Now, looking at the fact that they're the first headphones in the line, I'm very curious to listen to the bigger brothers, all of the guys from the Lambda series, the 400s, the 500s, sorry, I think, and the 700s. And of course, I can't wait to get more my hands on the 007s and the 009s and X9000s. But I'm a little bit afraid as well, because I'm afraid for my wallet. I mean, after listening to these headphones, I know for sure that I'm gonna get at least a pair of these. I'm gonna listen to the others, but I tell you, this is flagship material. So for some reason, a $450 headphone, it's actually flagship material. So yes, you'll get probably a bit better with a lot more money, right? Or actually, you'll get better with a lot more money. But this is flagship material, and this is an extraordinary headphone. And keep in mind that this headphone was actually part of the Lambda series, which was actually released in 36 years ago. And of course, they got like a redesign or something like that in 2016. But thinking about the fact that they were designed 36 years ago and they sound so amazing, I'm just blown away. And a few words about the amplifier. I mean, I'm gonna say again a few words about the amplifier. It's not cheap. I think it's around $150 or something like that. And I don't know exactly for sure how it sounds, because it's the first time I hear this combination in general, and this amplifier. This is the first time I hear them together. I haven't heard this amplifier with other headphones. However, I know sound in general, and I tested it with two DACs, the Lumen P1 and the Rogna Wavelight. And I have to say that I think it's a very good amplifier. This is kind of a dedicated guess at this point, and I'm gonna see if I can get my hands on other headphones to test it with. But I think it's a very good amplifier because changing the DACs and knowing the DACs with different amplifiers and how they sound with a very transparent amplifier. That's kind of a I don't think you can get clearer than that. The benchmark AHB2. Knowing these characteristics of the DACs and how it sounded with both of them, I think this is a transparent amplifier. I also think that it's has a good presentation in general. I mean, the tonality is, I think, quite good in terms of. I think it sounds natural. Don't think it has the potential of sounding harsh, especially while looking at the frequency response for the 300s, the headphones, and knowing the DACs as well. But it's detailed in general. It has good detail. I think it has good speed and attack. So I'm not sure about the previous amplifiers from STAX. I know that being in this domain for more than 14 years, 15 I think, I've read a lot about STAX in general, and I think in the past people were not necessarily very impressed with STAX amplifiers. I have the feeling that this amplifier, which is kind of a newer version of the redesign from the past, I think it was some series with 300 something amplifier in the past. I think it's actually a good one, and I didn't feel I lose anything with these headphones. I mean, listening to this combination, I cannot fault it with anything. It was a very good experience from any perspective you wanted to look at it. So I would say that this is a good amplifier, and I'm quite curious to hear it with bigger stacks, with the bigger brothers, because I have a feeling it will deliver. It will deliver and it will scale with bigger brothers. So this being said, the conclusion is that these headphones are amazing. I mean, if they wanted to hook you with STAX, with this first model, certainly achieves that. It's one of the, I mean, again, the level of the price and the performance you get from it, it's astonishing. They are flagship material, if you ask me. Of course, considering the price as well. And if we cut the price off it, if you don't know the price and you listen to it, you probably will only be a little bit annoyed by the build quality and plastic. But you'll love the sound, and if you take the price and you don't tell anyone the price, I think they will be amazed. They will say it's a flagship material. So thank you for watching. If you want more details about how it sounds, how I tested it and something like that, go in the written review. Also, please hit the like and the subscribe button. Have a great weekend, and cheers again!